What's taking long?
But if you do it the first time,
No, it's
you're stupid. I was like, we. I was like,
Must be the internet connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if you try Hornets?
Probably like the, yeah, like. Should I switch over to guest or? Because usually, like, let me.
Oh, there it goes.
very good.
Oh, my.
So let me. Yeah, it's working.
Okay, and let's go back down to share. We'll just make sure we're sharing that screen again.
Yep.
Okay. We're good. And let me start recording again. Oh no, it's been recording, so we're good.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then let's go to the home page.
Were you using video on your end when I was on there?
I was doing this.
Couldn't tell if
Yeah.
you seen me or not. I was like,
Oh, I didn't try. I didn't try the
Library.
video. It's
Oh, is
on
it?
like a black screen.
yeah,
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yes,
wondering
yes.
if you seen me when I
That was okay. I saw you just fine.
I was just concerned that this was like a class full of people. And I was like talking, and there was nobody.
You were fine.
Okay. We're good to go. All right, so let's get started one more time. All right, so today we'll try to teach you about APA, a little bit about APA style, but more about how to use the application. Today we're hoping that you guys can create an account using Academic Writer. We'll sign in, create references, and then teach you how to use the tool. So in order to access Academic Writer, you would have to go to your library's homepage, and then from here, navigate to databases. Once you're in databases, what you want to do is just scroll down until you see Academic Writer, American Psychological Association, APA.
Go to library.
Oh, library.
Oh, I should have started there.
That's okay. No worries. That's what everybody does.
All right, so once you're in this library site here, you're going to go to databases. Good. Scroll down to Academic Writer.
And so that's how I get logged in if I was at home. Like
Yes.
off campus.
Same thing.
Yeah, it will, if you're at home, it will ask you to log in with your Emporia credentials first to like authenticate you as a student.
Yeah.
But then it will take you to this page.
Okay. You good? All right, so from this page, what we're going to do first is, this is the Academic Writer homepage. What you would have to do is go to the welcome and log in. So from this page, you go here and create an, ooh, what's happening to this mouse? Create an account. So you would just type in your first name, last name, email, and get all that started.
These were really loud, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Nah, you're good. You're
I
good.
ate so many of them earlier.
I'm a loud eater, so I like it when people like when there's an extra crunch in the room or something. I'm like, my people. Okay, so this is the homepage of Academic Writer. Once you're logged in, you'll know you're logged in because it'll say welcome and your name at the top. From this here, so we're gonna just do a little orientation of the homepage. Academic Writer is made up of 3 centers. You have the Learn Center, the Reference Center, and the Write Center. The Learn Center is where they have all what we call our digital media library. It has a bunch of videos that you can watch to learn more about APA style and the writing process in general, as well as be able to view sample papers and sample references. Your reference center is where you create references and manage your references, and the write center is just that, where you go write your actual papers. Within this homepage here, if you guys go to the welcome and go to site help, if you guys are running into any trouble when using Academic Writer, from this page, we provide a bunch of resources for you guys to just look up, like how to add an in-text citation, the basics of collaboration, which is a feature in Academic Writer, adding references. We also have a YouTube site available. So if you guys need a little more help on inserting references, how to start a paper in Academic Writer, or we record webinars about once a month. And this is a pre-recorded webinars to like an introduction to Academic Writer, which is pretty much what we'll be doing here today. All right. So I'm going to jump into the Learn Center. And so the Learn Center is made out of quick guides and tutorials, which are quick guides are shorter videos about just APA style. So if you want to know more about like formatting your page, a basic setup of an APA style paper, you can just click on the video, it will start, and it'll just give you a basic like breakdown of what's required in an APA style paper.
Formatting a manuscript includes the basic setup of the typeface, line spacing, margins.
So yeah, so gives you a quick video just to show you like how do you get started with APA style. Now the Learn Center is pretty much set up consistently throughout. This is the same format you would get. So you would be able to move from quick guides to tutorials. Tutorials are longer videos that also touch on APA style, but also talk about things like criteria and criterion for measures, ethics standards in research and writing, how to find a reliable source. So I know that's one of the things a lot of students have, at least in the beginning, have a lot of problems with, is how do you know that your source is actually reliable? So if you would just click on show details, you can read a little more about what you would find in this particular video. And once you hit play, the video is broken down to several sections. So you have a welcome and overview, organizing sources. So if you don't want to watch, say, the whole entire thing because you watched already, if you watch the video once already, you can jump into another section like evaluating sources. So you click on that, the video will start in that section. So this is like pretty much the quick guides and tutorials, right? So everything's broken down. You'll get a description, you'll get your thumbnail, and if you want, you can also download a copy of the transcripts of the video. So, you know, for whatever reason you can't, let's say you can't you don't have your headphones on or whatever, you can just read it as well. And actually within the actual video, you can also just turn on those transcripts so you can just read it as you go along. So besides that, in the Learning Center, we have quizzes. So quizzes are just that, like any other quiz that you take. They are more of like knowledge checkpoints for APA style. So it's just not like a graded actual quiz. So as you go through this quiz, for example, it's just pretty much to test your knowledge on what you know about APA style, just like any assessment, right? So you got 2 attempts to answer a question. If you don't answer them correctly on your second attempt, you'll get an explanation and including like the answers to that question. So for example, this particular APA style basics tutorial has 20 different questions with a bunch of different types of questions. And from this, you would just answer them and just see how well you know APA style. And if you have if you just want to find out a little more about what actually goes into APA style as you're watching the video, you can always click on the more like this, watch a similar video. If you go to details, again, you'll get something in the description, but you'll also be linked to a tutorial of APA style. So this is probably one of the most helpful things within the Learn Center here are a bunch of sample stuff that we have. So you can browse by title or by topic, right? So by title, you'll get, for example, for sample papers, you'll get the titles of the papers. But if you browse by topic, you'll be able to find a paper that you're, like a type of paper. So this is for like a literature review. And within this, there's 2 types of literature review papers. So do you guys know what type of papers you'll be writing? like I know you're just starting, right? So everything is just whatever your professor says, right? What about for your program? Do you know?
I feel like mostly just like, I'm doing a paper over art therapy in prisons, so it's kind of like a research paper based on other people's research.
Okay.
And like gathering information and relaying it.
Yeah. So like a regular research paper, right? Yeah. All right. So, well, this is helpful just in case if a professor specifically asks you to do like a response paper, you'll be having an example of what type of a response paper looks like. Now, besides this, we also have sample papers, right? Sample references, and here you'll be able to view references based on the topic here. So, an abstract. Here, there's two different types of references. You also have an audio-visual material. So, like a music recording track. If you need to do a reference for that, you can see a sample reference. So while you do your research, you'll see that depending on what your source is, like sometimes you have to go online and use a tweet, right? So how do you do that? You can just find it here. So if we were to just search like Twitter, we can find that there is a type of example. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a good thing about the Learning Center. It does provide a bunch of examples. Again, if within here, if you're going to see, we have sample tables. So there are standards. APA style is, what APA style does is standardizes the way you write paper, right? So every person that turns in an APA style paper has to have the same format. The same thing goes for how the tables show up, how your figures should be on the paper. So if you look here, you'll see that to do a bar graph, it has to be in a specific format. And this tells you this sample is a figure displays a bar graph, and so on and so forth. So at least it'll give you a reference on how to start, right? So this is pretty much the Learn Center. It has a bunch of videos that you can watch, short and long, a quiz just to test yourself on your knowledge about writing an APA style, and a bunch of different references. Samples, sorry about that. So from this point on, if you guys have any questions, no? Yeah, it's just pretty like standard stuff, right? So we'll start now with the part that you guys will start doing with following along with me. So what we're going to start doing now is how to create a reference in Academic Writer. So did you both have a chance to log in? Are you guys in here already? All right, so do me a favor and navigate to the Reference Center. And from the Reference Center, I want you to go to Add a Reference. All right, so what you'll see here is as you're working and trying to figure out what type of reference you're going to create, you'll have a bunch of different subjects that you can choose from or topics. So if you're periodicals, a journal article, right? Or you can do a newspaper article. If we scroll down a little more under audio visual media, you'll see how to reference a YouTube video. Again, you can do Facebook posts when Google Plus was a thing. Twitter as well. So for this example, what we're going to do is a simple reference of a journal article. So let's click on journal article. So one of the cool things about working in the Academic Writer is that we make this process of creating a reference and writing in APA style simple for you guys. So when you're creating a reference, right, there's a specific format you have to follow. There's specific information you need to create a reference. So what this does for you is that it tells you there are some things that are required here to make an APA style formatted reference, right? So this authorship section is required. So what I want you guys to do is create a reference here. So you're gonna put your last name and you're gonna go with your middle initial, your initials. Also want you to add a publication year. So any year, doesn't matter when it is. As you scroll down and work through this, you'll also see that the article title is also required. So just make a fake article. Doesn't matter what it is, just make a title there. Yeah. And finally, you'll also have to put a journal name and a first page within this. So I'm gonna create one myself. Go with let's go with 15. and my journal name. On first page. All right, so there are, like I said, APA style does come with a bunch of rules, right? And one of the rules is when you're creating a title page, right, you have to format in sentence case. And what that means is only the first letter of your title is going to be capitalized. So if you click on format in sentence case, what this does is it goes to your paper, your actual title, formats it for you. I don't know, that's probably a mistake. But this does tell you, right? We have formatted your text in sentence case in APA style. Please review and capitalize any proper nouns. So this is probably thinking that it was that. And is TV capitalized because it's an acronym, right? So, right? Television, right? Okay. So that does it for that. And if we scroll down again, the title of my of the journal that I was writing has to be in format in title case, right? So if I click here, this will format it for me in title case. So title case is pretty much that. So it was a small case W, so it just made it to a capital. So this does those little things that you have to go into like APA style manual and read all the rules, right? So this just helps the process along of creating a reference. So another feature that you can do as you're making your notes, and this might help you out to organize yourself a little better, as you're creating a reference, right? And you know you're working for a specific paper, you might just want to like tie everything together, right? Like, so either put like the class name or like the title of your paper, or at least something that you can track all the references you're using. So I'm gonna go here with just something simple. Helium. I'm gonna add my reference. And as soon as this comes out, it will show me what the reference is gonna look like in APA style format. So this is formatted already for me. And at this point, I can either add another reference or go to my references. So I want you guys to select go to your references. And if you already did that, you can always go back to your reference center here, go to my references, and you'll be able to see, in this case, this is the reference I just created. So did you guys get that far? Are you having trouble?
I don't know. I got to the name and all that, but I don't know.
Yeah, so if you just wanna, for now, practice, so he's just kind of making up some.
Random names of anything, just to like put stuff down.
You can, so let me see where you put that far. So you can just put in, you're just like making a practice reference. So you have your title, you have your source, I think you just need a page number there since it's starred. Yeah, and then try to scroll down.
So what is the page?
And then click on add.
So-
where you got the information or?
Yeah. So that's one of the requirements, right? APA style, basically put that first page in. So it's telling you put this on
So
there.
what if
That's
I'm using the OVA?
So then if you click on go to my reference.
It doesn't really happen.
well, when we create a reference, right? If we're finding a book,
Oh, right, then you decided.
yeah. So an authored book or a chapter in the book. So you wouldn't specifically need that first page anymore because right, you're using the entire book. So yeah. So if you're in here also, right, and you want a little more information on what goes actually into that section, you can always click on this question mark. And there's question marks throughout Academic Writer for like extra help, right? So in this case, this reference type is an edited book. So this form to create a reference to a book in which the same author wrote the whole book. So then you know there. So you know you can use that. So within Academic Writer, there's also different ways to add references. So as you go through, this might be a little more advanced for you, but as you go through your graduate, your research and the process, right? They're going to tell you go to like ProQuest or EBSCO, like different reference managers to get those references, right? So there is a way in Academic Writer for you to get the references that you created in these other services and add them to Academic Writer, right? It's a little more advanced, but when it comes, you can always reach out to us or just go to the librarian and say, I remember hearing about this, how do you do this, right? You can also search our PsycInfo database. So if you, actually, let's do that now. Go to your reference center, right? you go to add a reference. Let me know when you're here. Let's go to the search. So we are going to search inside our site info database. Type in anything random, a keyword. I'm going to go with, I don't know, yellow dog. And see if I get anything that has yellow dog. Well, not necessarily here, but I'm just going to go with dog. So these are references in psych info database. So if you already know what you're already looking for, right, particularly here, then you can search what you want. And let's actually add a couple references to this. So if you're already on this page and you search something, let's click 1, 2, or 3 of them and click add to my references.
So this feature would be if you use Psych Info, which is a psychology and behavioral sciences collection of databases. So you would have already done your research in Psych Info and found your articles. And here, since APA manages both of these programs, it's just kind of a convenience that you can just pull the references straight from Psych Info. So you wouldn't come here to like do research or look for articles, but you would look for those specific articles that you already found.
Yeah, so this is basically if you already know what you're looking for, you can just search it here, right? All right, so we're here already. You guys click on a few, you add it to my paper. So let's go to my references. And at that point, you'll be able to see all the references that you just pulled into Academic Writer, right? Okay, so from this page, you can always delete a reference. You can always export it. So if, let's say you decide to start here in Academic Writer and you decide to send the references you just created to the other sites like ProQuest and all these other people, you can also send it over there. But you can just manage what you currently have. So this is pretty much how to create a reference, right? And how to manage them, right? We have a place for you to be able to figure out what you kind of want to reference. There might be a little more help for you if you do a little plus, and you can figure out what type of reference you need to have on your paper. All right, so from this point on, what we want to do is actually start a new paper. So let's move on to the right center. So before this, any questions? Good to go? Okay, and let me know if you need any help, all right? All right, so let's actually go to write a new paper. So on this page, we'll be able to select a bunch of different templates if we're asked to write something specific, right? So what we were saying earlier, if your professor tells you, hey, I need you to write a reaction paper, you'll get 2 bullets on what a reaction paper is. And if you click on view sample paper, you'll do just that. You'll be able to view a sample paper that was already written in the past and just get an idea of what actually goes into this type of paper, right? Something a little helpful. All right, so what we're gonna do is start a basic paper. So if you guys click on basic paper, the first pop-up you'll get is this a student assignment or a professional manuscript? Since you guys are students, we'll start with a student assignment. If you guys decided to publish, then you would go with a professional manuscript, but we're gonna go with the student assignment. At this point, let's add a title to our paper. Doesn't matter what it is, any random title. I'm gonna go Emporia. And click on start writing. So everyone here yet? Okay. So the first pop-up you'll see is if you need any more help, and this will take you to those resources that we showed you earlier. If you need any more help on getting started with the Academic Writer. All right. So once you're here, you'll have a blank canvas, right? Like any other like Microsoft Word or Google Docs, you'll be able to write your paper here. You'll be able to do a couple similar things like over there, like use the edit button to copy and paste, format certain things like the font, paragraph, and all the other good stuff. One of the advantages of using Academic Writer to write a paper is the title page. If you're using Word, right, you would have to start the first page, figure out how to add the page numbers and the running head, then make sure everything like looks pretty, right, before you start your paper. So what Academic Writers does is it creates the title page for you as long as you input information. So let's go from the right. You're going to click on title page, and this should take you here. So here's where you would have your title, and this is where the title that you named your paper initially. And It'll give you the title should be summarized, the main idea of the manuscript. Now, a part of APA style is that you have to have a running head, right? So let's add any running head to that. So a running head is a shortened version of the title. So I'm just gonna go with practice paper. Add any month, day, year, and random professor name. And if you click on save, right, and go to preview, right here in the top. So you save here and you go to preview here at the top. It'll take you to how your title page will actually look like. All the information you just put in, it formats everything nicely for you. It adds the running head to the top. It adds the page number as well. And if you go to your second page, you'll see that the running head itself, the title here, changes to just the shortened version of your title. So those are the small things that Academic Writer will do for you that you don't, Word doesn't necessarily provide, right? Okay, so that now that we're here in our title page, what I want to do now, sorry, not in the title page, we're gonna go back to the main body of our paper. From here, if you guys click on new sections, you can add different sections of your paper, right? So we can go with the intro, add it, conclusion, so this would help you format your paper as you write.
You don't even have to do it. It just does it for you.
Okay. All right. So as you're building your body up, you can create your new sections there and it would help you, right? So what we're going to do now is actually add the references that you just created from your reference center to this paper. So what we're going to do is scroll down. So your references are going to be located here. And what you guys want to do is add new reference. This is going to link you to that list of references that you guys just added, right? So just click away, add everything if you can. Let's see, it's a little simple. All right. That's good enough. And once you select what you want, just add to paper. And you can just scroll up here and hit this X to return to your actual body of your paper. So let me know if you guys are good at this point. So if you scroll down, you'll see them there.
They're not on the paper though, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Go.
They're like added on to the bottom. They don't show up in the actual body. So like this section down here is kind of your additional elements to the body of your paper. So you have added them, and once you look at preview or export, you'll see how they're all formatted and incorporated in the paper.
So
but if you see,
do you see them here on the bottom of your paper?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you scroll up and hit preview again, scroll through the pages, and you'll see all the references you just added.
Yeah, that's where I had to do a reference page.
Yeah, yeah.
But I just haven't done that part yet.
Yeah, perfect, right? So this would help that process out, right? Of thinking how many things I have to do and how do I format, so you can just add it here, export it, and you have your reference page.
yeah. So if you, so you said you have an assignment where you have to adjust the reference list first. Yeah. So what I would do is just start a paper like we just did, and you don't have to, type in the body yet, but just add your references and it will format them
And
here.
just print it from, right, I can download it.
Yep,
Perfect,
exactly.
right?
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. So
And then the reference page has a running head and a number too.
Yep.
I didn't turn it, when I did the first one, I didn't.
yeah, see, those are like all the little things about APA style, right? That this really helps you. It simplifies it, and it just helps you do it. So you concentrate on what you're writing, right? And not necessarily like all the rules.
Right.
Okay, so if you go back to edit, what we're gonna do now is do an in-text citation. So there's a couple ways to do this. You can either go to insert and find in cite. You can right click and find in cite. or if you just decide to scroll down again and choose a reference that's on there. Click on that and hit Cite. Okay, so at this point, right, it's going to ask you if this is a parenthetical citation or a narrative. If you don't know what those are, then you can just read a little bit about it. Basically, the parenthetical citation, the author's within the citation,
it's all in parentheses.
It's all in parentheses.
So the author and the publication here.
Yeah.
And then narrative kind of allows you to write the author into your sentence. So you could say like, according to Smith and so ever, and then you would put the year in parentheses.
So go ahead and add a in-text citation. If you click on yes, this is going to tell you that this citation has already been cited within your paper. If we scroll up, you'll see it here. Well, you can't click on it, it just highlights it more for you, right? So this is a parenthetical citation. If we were to choose a narrative, right? If we clicked on Cite, narrative, it formats it for us differently, right? So what Emily was saying, that the authors wouldn't be in the parentheses anymore. So you just get the author and then the years in parentheses. So the little things that actually helps out while you're writing your paper. There's also another rule within APA style. So if you cite the same source more than once, but it has a list of authors within here, the second citation would be different. So if I choose my location of where I want to do an in-text citation, choose the same reference again, hit on Cite, and submit, we'll see that the same reference here and here, it's the same citation, but it's formatted differently because it's cited more than once with a group of authors, right? But if I were to delete this from my paper, the bottom citation will automatically change to say like this is the first time I'm citing this, so all the authors are going to show up. So this is pretty much how Academic Writer works, right? It helps you write your paper within here, as well as manage your references and help you do in-text citations. Now, besides this, what I'm going to show you now is how to check to make sure that your references that you cited are being used in your paper. So if you guys go to match references here, you'll get a pop-up and you can run now. And this is going to tell you that some of the references within your paper haven't been cited. So if you go to paper, we'll see that these two references here haven't been cited, right? So at this point, we can select it here, delete it, or we can find where we need to make the citation within our paper. And finally, once you guys are done and ready to send this out to your professors, you can click on the export button here. You can either email it to yourself or to anyone, and your emailed Word doc, and you can also download it. So you can download a Word doc or a PDF of the actual paper that you just written. So any questions about Academic Writer? No?
Did you get a practice paper started? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you followed along and you have a title page with all of your headers and your page numbers, and then you have some references and some citations, pretty much all you have left to do is actually write the actual paper. So it really helps with all of those formatting things that can take up a lot of time, especially, you know, in Microsoft Word, sometimes it's finicky. So hopefully it will save you some time.
And as you're working through this, right, and you guys can't figure out how to do this, or like, I don't know, a month from now, right, when you actually have to write your first paper, right, you can always scroll down to the bottom and email us at academicwriter@apa.org, whatever questions you have. And Emily, myself, and the team that's in DC, we can answer any questions you guys have, you know, any help, like, hey, can you help me get started, or how do I do this again? We can get on a quick chat and help you guys out. All right, y'all. That's it.
Yeah, if you want to hang out for a little bit and do some more practice, we can come around and help you out. So maybe you could practice adding some more references or adding some citations like that if you want. We'll be here.
Otherwise, there's cookies and some snacks in the back.
And goodies. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and there's some stuff that you can
Yeah,
take.
there's some
Whatever you have there left.
some
Yeah.
cups and foam grips.
Good box today.
Oh, good. Yeah,
Floating around campus.
keep those and hand them out in
Yes.
the library.
We appreciate
Incentives for workshops and whatnot. So do you have papers that you're working on now?
Yeah, I have a essay I have to do for
Okay.
like a TED talk, and then you have to identify every single time you find ethos, pathos, whatever.
Oh, interesting.
Like
Okay.
every single time.
So you have to do a tech. You have to
You have to watch
Like review a TED
Or
talk.
review a
You have
TED
to
talk.
watch a TED talk and like not identify